Good afternoon and welcome to Job Help Hotline. My name is Doug and I'm from Greater Westtown Training Partnership, and with me today is Alehna Crowe, one of our students in our current class. She goes by Lainey around the shop, and she's here to help answer some questions about the program. So today we're going to be specifically talking about the Woodworkers Training Program. We'll mention a little bit about our other programs at Greater Westtown. But before I forget, the number at the bottom of the screen is where you should call if you have a question for us. So please, if you have any questions about any of our programs, but especially woodworking, please give us a call at 312-738-1060. In just a minute, I will also put up on the screen our contact information at Greater Westtown, so you can contact us directly if you would like to apply to the program or refer someone to the program. Also, our web address will be up on the screen, so if you have a piece of paper and pencil handy, you can jot those down. I also should mention that we're streaming live, so you can always catch the show on at cantv.org/hotline. So you can take a look at it there as well. So just getting started, I have a couple questions just for Lainey here, and can you tell us a little bit about how you got interested in woodworking and maybe what led you to applying to the program?
To the program?
Yeah.
So I think I've always been interested in like building things and making things and learning those kind of skills. And I was actually referred to the program by a job training center, and they'd given me information on a welding program, and then later came back and said, hey, here's this flyer for this woodworking program, and that's kind of how I found out about it. And then I called, and the program had already started. They said if you can come in today and do the interview and everything today, and then did that, and then it happened. Yes,
I forgot you were a late addition to the class, but you actually caught up well, and I think are maybe even a little ahead of the group, so you're doing great. And it's been a pleasure having you in the class. I think for me, I'm one of the instructors with the woodworking program, and it's the enthusiasm that our students bring to the program, that real desire to learn woodworking and kind of get involved in this trade that keeps me going. So a little quick background on the program: we've been around for just over 25 years, and we've graduated more than 800 students into the woodworking industry. Our programs are provided at no cost, so individuals who are eligible, you can call and find out about eligibility, can receive training at no cost, and job placement is part of the program. So at this point, you haven't been out on any interviews yet, but we're starting to talk about job placement and kind of get an idea of what jobs you might be interested in.
Yeah, and kind of like working with our job coordinator and working with Charlie, and just like learning what's out there and the different trades, and then like the different connections that we have and kind of what we're working towards and stuff like that.
Great. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about, do you have a specific area of woodworking? It's such a broad field. I mean, we place people into cabinet making, furniture making, musical instrument manufacturing, you name it, made out of wood, and our students are working in that in companies in the industry. So do you have a sense of where you want to take this?
I think so. I think what I'm really interested in learning is like more of like the finer aspects of like mastering all the skills. So we're learning a number of skills and a number of different machines, and I want to keep going with that and kind of get to the point where I feel comfortable working with all these machines, and I know if I see something or if I have some like concept design for something with like a piece of furniture, I could figure that out and problem solve that whole thing like start to finish, like from picking out the wood and figuring out like which tools I would be using and such. So yeah.
Great. Yeah. So I think this is everything that we'll keep in mind as we work to make a match with a company. We have right now many companies already in contact with us that are interested in hiring for the program, and we'll be setting up interviews and kind of facilitating that placement process. So I'm guessing you'll have a number of offers before the end of training even. and you'll be able to choose and kind of find something that you really enjoy doing. So just a quick reminder, you can call the number at the bottom of the screen, 312-738-1060, if you have questions for either Lainey or myself about the program or any programs at Greater Westtown, really. And I'm going to go ahead and put our contact information up here on the screen. And we are Greater Westtown Project, located at 500 North Sacramento Boulevard. Pretty convenient to all kinds of public transportation. And let me just stop this for a second. So we have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yes. Yes. Do you accept people with criminal background?
Thank you. That's a great question. We do. There's no problem. We have many ex-offenders applying and being accepted into the program, so don't let that limit you. We have a lot of individuals who get into the training program and get out there working, and we know that that can be a huge barrier to employment. So we keep that in mind, and we make sure that the training provides everything that you need to help you overcome any kind of mistakes you might have had in the past with any type of conviction. So most important thing is just kind of let us know so we can work with you and make sure that that you're prepared to go out there, especially in interviewing, learning how to kind of present yourself to an employer. That's also a big part of training. So great question. Thanks for calling. All right, so let me just click through some of these photos here. We were talking a little bit about some of the machines in the shop, so I'm just going to put some photos back up on the screen. And this next one here, can you tell us a little bit about, this is a machine you certainly have operated in the shop?
Yeah, so this is a joiner. We use it to you would use it to like flatten a face of it, and then you can then flatten a side and use that flattened face to create a square corner.
Great. Yeah. So this is kind of some of the more traditional equipment that we use, right? So working with solid wood. This is actually a student from a previous class, not one of your classmates, but yeah, he's doing exactly that. He's squaring up some material. And how about what's going on in this next photo here?
Looks like she or he is trimming the edges of the laminate. So we make boxes and then we laminate them. And you have a little bit of overhang there, so you have a trim router and you go around to clean those up there.
Yeah, so that's another aspect, and I think you mentioned before kind of the range of skills. So we do cover quite a bit of ground, mostly so our students have a lot of exposure and kind of see the full range of skills in the shop. Now this again is a previous class, but do you recognize this machine? Can you tell us a little bit about? This is our new CNC router, right? Have you had a chance to use this at all?
Yeah, so the CNC machine is pretty awesome, great new technology. You can, it works with a computer, so it's a computer-generated program that then it's basically like a really big router with different bits that it'll pick up on its own, and you program it. You tell the program what to do and then put that into the system, and then that's going to kind of automatically run. Now it's only going to do exactly what you told it to do, so it's really important that you're careful with your programming, but it gives you like fantastically clean cuts, and like if you're making crazy shapes and curves and stuff like that, it's just a quick way that you could make a bunch of those parts.
Exactly.
I guess.
Yeah. It's really, taking all of the power of a computer and connecting it to woodworking equipment. And, I'm amazed at what we've been able to do. That big machine we've just had for about a year. We've had a smaller computer-controlled or CNC machine for about the last 20 years, honestly. But the new technology is really amazing. But you can see the range of skills. So everything from our traditional joiner working with a machine that hasn't changed in more than 100 years to brand new state-of-the-art equipment, so that you feel, hopefully you'll feel confident.
I mean, it's like I feel like I could go and just from this program, if I wanted to, I can go and be like a CNC operator somewhere, or I can go into a shop that's maybe like on the smaller side with just like a joiner and a planer and a table saw, and so that's like a pretty big difference there. I think that's like kind of the range that you get after that.
Yeah, so a little more detail about the program. I think we haven't mentioned really kind of the structure of the program. So just quickly, training is full-time Monday through Friday, and so students are typically with us 8 to 2:30 every day. But the program is only 15 weeks long. So our strategy has always been to kind of give you that big foundation, that broad foundation that leads to a lot of different jobs, but to do it in a very intensive way. So,
and I think that it's great that, I mean, it seems really intimidating and maybe a little impossible doing it full-time 5 days a week, but I think it's essential to actually building a strong and lasting foundation, because the foundation that you start out with is going to be, it's going to determine how far you can go, or like, how efficiently you can like move into woodworking and learn this. So I think that the way that it's done, I don't really know how you would do it. I don't think you could do it in a better way,
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I think we've been at this for 25 years, and we haven't come up with a better way yet. We are constantly improving the program. We always, and especially with student feedback and input, we're always looking at better ways to teach and present the information. But I think the idea to, we're not asking you to go to school for 6 months or a year or 2 years. We're also not asking you to take out a loan. So just again, a reminder, training is provided at no cost. And that's a rare opportunity. You won't be paid, so you kind of have full-time hours, but you're investing in your future. You're building skills that you own. You really, you will leave the program with skills that you own. You can take them anywhere. You already have an idea of the kinds of companies you can take those skills to. So I think that's really the fundamental concept of our program. So I'm going to quickly put up our main contact information. So if you'd like to reach out to us directly, I'll put our phone number and website up on the screen again. And while it's up here, I just want to mention quickly, we also have a shipping and receiving training program where you can learn forklift operation, computerized inventory control, and other skills related to working in the shipping and receiving end of a business. We have a direct job placement program. All of this is housed in this same building, which is at Sacramento and Franklin Boulevard, corner of Sacramento and Franklin. And we also have, we have a direct job placement, our shipping and receiving program, and we also have an alternative high school program for students who have left their traditional Chicago public high school. Okay, we have a caller. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hi. I have a question. So I have an entrance in like woodworking and things, but I've never done it before. Would you guys be able to help me learn and also find a job?
That's a great question. Yes. Do we require, maybe Lainey can answer this question, do we require experience?
Necessary. No experience necessary. In fact, it's one of those things where I think when you just try to jump into the woodworking industry, a lot of places not only require experience, but like you wouldn't even be comfortable working with these machines without it. So that's the great thing about this program is I had never worked with like any kind of like woodworking machinery. I didn't really know much about the tools, I guess, and at this point, like I feel so much more confident like learning how to do it. So you don't need any experience at all. So.
Okay. Great. Wow. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks for calling. Yeah, so what we do require is interest and motivation, and I think the best way to find out more, if you like our last caller, if you have a sense that you want to do this, don't say no. Don't say I can't do that. Say, boy, I've always been interested, or maybe I should try this. Come out and take a look at the program. Visit us in real life. No obligation to come take a tour and see what we're all about. You can meet students, talk to current students, and see the shop, see the program, and that'll give you a good sense of what you're getting yourself into. It can be a lot of fun as well. So, but take that first step. Give us a call, and we have another caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, my question is, what if you join the program and that you're in need of supportive services of some type of getting to the program?
Great, that's a good question. Thanks for asking. We do provide a small stipend for public transportation, or you can it's transportation support, so you can take that either as a gas card or public transportation, so depending on how you get around. Because we know that's a burden, and we do have funding to help with that supportive service. So we're glad to do that to help our students in the program so they can get back and forth. So thank you for calling. And so back to our conversation here. What I want to do is put a couple more pictures up on the screen. This is actually the project that you're working on now. So we have a computer rendering here first we're going to take a look at. And so this is actually, we build things that sometimes have never existed before. This is an example of a brand new project that we're doing with Lainey's class. So can you tell us a little about what some of the skills are that are involved here, that some of the things you've done so far?
Yeah, so so far we have had to create the cutting list, so kind of break it down into, what parts you need, what materials you need, and then sort of laying that out so that you can then go and choose, the panel material. And then also we've gone and picked out, because the base is solid wood.
Okay, I think I have a picture of that here. Let's take a look at that next.
We were able to go and pick out lumber from what we had in stock. So starting from the rough cut lumber and finding our pieces in that was really useful and awesome experience, where it's not something I think that you think about if you've never worked with wood, like having to lay out those pieces on a piece of lumber. So that was really...
Yeah, so here we're looking at the base that you were describing. So I should point out that everything that we make starts out as a drawing. So in the background you can see the actual blueprint. So did you come to the program knowing how to read blueprints? Is that something that was a challenge for you?
I did not know how to read blueprints. I think I had read basic, what most people see, IKEA blueprints essentially, but
Sure.
I didn't really know anything about blueprint terminology. It's got its own set of rules and stuff like that. So that I all learned in class. We have a print reading class, and we learned all the different terms, all different symbols, and I feel quite confident and comfortable reading blueprints now. So.
Great. So this next photo is actually, so that's the base of the cabinet. These are the actual, kind of the state of where the base is. So you guys have you mentioned IKEA, so here it's like we actually make the kit of parts first and then put it together rather than buying a kit of parts. So these are all of our stretchers and rails and legs ready to assemble. So we're actually in the process of doing that right now. So again, our contact information just quickly up here on the screen. If you want to call us directly, you can reach out to 312-563-9570. We're conveniently located in the kind of the south end of Humboldt Park and the eastern edge of Garfield Park at the intersection of Sacramento Boulevard and Franklin Boulevard. So all kinds of information on our website, and also you can find us on Facebook, where we do regular posts and updates from the shop as well. So we talked a little bit about kind of how you got started in the program. Can you just describe? We talked about the structure overall, Monday through Friday for 15 weeks. What's a typical day like in the program?
So we start at 8 a.m. sharp. In the beginning of the class, we would start with the classroom stuff for a couple hours, and then go to lunch, and then do a couple hours in the shop at the end. Now, our typical day is we get there, we start working in the shop at 8 a.m., usually till 12, so it's 4 hours of shop, and then 30-minute lunch break, and after that we do rotating classes. There might be job development or print reading, shop math, and then we also have an English class and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so it's pretty well-rounded curriculum. I think for me as a woodworker, I always feel like, oh, I want the students in the shop all of the time.
Yeah.
But I also, over the years, and this is something that we've kind of learned is critical, and I hope this has been your experience, is that what we do in the classroom really prepares you to make better use of time in the shop. So we have a really excellent basic skills instructor, and I think she does a great job of, I'm not going to say tricking you into learning things, but she presents, you're learning language skills, but you're learning it in the context of woodworking.
Right.
Or,
It's not.
you know.
It doesn't feel like you're learning these unrelated, just school classroom skills. Everything ties back to what you're doing in the shop ultimately, or it'll tie back to your communication skills when it comes to like finding a job, and then those communication skills are then going to carry over into how you communicate on the job and with your coworkers. And good communication skills are one of those things that like it'll help you move up. So you might be like the best, most awesome woodworker in the world, but not be able to communicate or work with people. So I think that's part of what makes this program like so well-rounded, is getting all those skills and getting them all at the same time and to work together.
Great, great. That's always good to hear, and I always like to put people on the spot and tell them, no pressure, what do you think about the program? We always incorporate as much feedback as we can from our students. We like to keep our alumni involved. And I'm going to put a couple more pictures up on the screen, because another aspect of training, you've had a chance hopefully to be out on a couple tours. So I have some pictures from one of the tours. So let's take a quick look here at, I think you were at Bridgewater Studios, is that right? Mm-hmm. And can you give us a little idea of what they do? And this is a kind of unusual company.
Yeah, so Bridgewater they're kind of a fabrication shop where they take all kinds of jobs of like for doing, let's say, window displays or just building all those parts that you wouldn't necessarily think about, but they have everything from CNC equipment to metalworking equipment. So, and then it's set up like a huge like warehouse kind of thing where nothing is really separated, but they do have like different stations, like where there's metal workers, there's like a finishing room thing, and there's a couple CNC machines. And
so I have a couple more. I think this is one of our graduates. So this is Alexa from a previous class, maybe a couple classes ago. So you had a chance to meet her.
Yeah, so she was actually the one who made the connection, I think, with Bridgewater. She reached out to them, and then because she is doing so well and she's representing the program so well, she's kind of opened that door for other people now. They're willing to, like, they're asking us, like, we need people, or they're willing to do tours and work with us, and that's another thing that the program does and that the students can do for the program as well.
Yeah, that was really, again, what I mentioned about the kind of enthusiasm that our students bring. Alexa was just super enthusiastic. She saw the CNC machine, and cause in our shop, and she was just kind of like, I want to master that, and really took it upon herself to then go find this company where she could apply those skills. So you guys had a chance here, I'm seeing, to chat with her a little bit outside of the shop after the tour. So just a brief again, mention of our contact information directly. You can find us on the web at www.gwtp.edu. Call us directly at 312-563-9570. Certainly you'll find us on Facebook, and watch for us third Tuesday of every month right here on CanTV 21. So in our last few seconds, I just want to say thank you to our callers for asking great questions today. It's not too late to apply to classes that are starting next week. So we're taking applications throughout the week. Give us a call so we can get you into one of our appointments, and you'll have a chance to potentially participate in our next class that will run from next week through the kind of middle of the fall. I want to say thanks to Lainey for joining me today and representing the program very well. And thanks to Ava, our phone tech, who's been taking the calls out there. And also many thanks to CanTV and their staff for making this show possible here. We really appreciate being able to reach the audience that we do. Thanks again.